Welcome to Quality Coaching Academy.
The primary way oxygen is transported in the blood is in the form of oxyhemoglobin. So option C is correct. Most of the oxygen is transported, approximately 98.5% oxygen is transported in the form of oxyhemoglobin, and which is transported by RBC. Only 1.5% oxygen is transported in dissolved form. So the correct answer is C. The head of a long bone is called what? Epiphysis. Long bone. This is a long bone. So both the heads of long bone is called epiphysis. The main body is called diaphysis. Or shaft. So option A is correct. Endosteum, periosteum. Periosteum is the outermost fibrous membrane or fibrous connective tissue which surround the compact bone. Periosteum. Endosteum lined the medullary cavity. The inner side of the bone is lined by another fibrous membrane which we call endosteum. The periosteum is crucial to bone survival because it contains blood vessels and bone forming cells. Periosteum is important because below the periosteum there are bone forming cells as well as bone dissolving cells. Osteoblast. Osteoblasts are bone forming cells. So they are found below the periosteum as well as below the endosteum. दोनों फाइब्रस मेम्ब्रेन के नीचे, इनर साइड पे भी और पेरियोस्टियम के नीचे, एंडोस्टियम के नीचे, दोनों के नीचे जो है बोन फॉर्मिंग सेल्स होते हैं और बोन डिसॉल्विंग सेल्स भी होते हैं, which we call osteoclast. That's why periosteum is crucial to bone. A fetus first skeleton is composed primarily of option C, cartilage, hyaline cartilage, whole of the embryonic skeleton. Is composed of hyaline cartilage. The bone is called osteon or Haversian system. Question number 11. Which of the following does not affect bone growth and maintenance? So, exercise, sex hormones, nutrition. All the three are responsible for bone growth and maintenance. So, the correct option is epinephrine, stress hormone, emergency hormone, which has no role in the growth and maintenance of bone. What is the name of fracture in which the bone penetrates the skin? Compound. Compound fracture. Fracture in which the bone, the broken ends of the bone penetrate the skin is compound or open. Closed or simple. Fracture in which the skin remain intact. Which bone is facial bone? Vomer. Vomer is facial bone, sphenoid, ethmoid, mastoid. Mastoid bone is located below the ear. This one is mastoid. So all the three are bones of the cranium. Vomer is the correct answer. Which bone form the upper jaw? Maxillae. Maxillae, two maxillae, pair maxillae or maxilla. This is the bone of the upper jaw. Zygomatic bone is cheekbone, mandible, lower jaw, lacrimal bone which protect lacrimal gland or tear glands. To form the hip joint, the head of femur rests in option first ilium, ischium second, obturator, foramen and acetabulum. Acetabulum is the correct answer. Acetabulum is a space, socket or cavity in which femur bone is articulated. So, acetabulum is the correct answer. The pituitary gland rests in an indented area in which cranial bone, in which of the cranial bone? Sphenoid bone. Pituitary gland is located in a cavity of the sphenoid bone known as sella turcica. Sella turcica is a space in the sphenoid bone which houses the pituitary gland. The least movable joint is fibrous joint. So joints are classified in various ways on the basis of movement, on the basis of material that form the joints. So fibrous joint, which is made up of fibrous protein, collagen fibers, and they form fixed joint. So they are the least movable joint. Option first is correct. Cartilaginous joints are partially movable joints. Synovial joints are freely movable joints. Pivot joints allow limited rotation. Most of the joints in the body are synovial joints. The most abundant joints are freely movable joints or synovial joints. Along with synovial fluid, this structure permits friction-free movement in synovial joints, and that is the last option, articular cartilage. For example, this is a joint between two bones. So heads of long bone are covered by hyaline cartilage. Heads of long bones are covered by hyaline cartilage, that we will call articular cartilage. ओल्ड एज में ये कार्टिलेज डिजेनरेट होता है, उसके बाद आर्थराइटिस शुरू होता है, जॉइंट पेन शुरू होता है। Which type of joint allow the head to rotate, such as when shaking the head? No. So this joint, which is located between the first vertebra, atlas, and occipital condyle of the cranium. So pyoid joint नीचे है बेटा. Pyoid joint is the joint which allow limited movement, and the joint between the skull and the first vertebra is pyoid joint, जिसकी वजह से आप नो कह सकते, इस तरह सर हिला सकते. Limited movement, restricted rotation. Which joint is most likely to be dislocated? This is shoulder joint. शोल्डर जॉइंट में सॉकेट जो है, जो केविटी होती है ह्यूमरस बोन के लिए, वो डीप नहीं है, थोड़ी सी शैलो है दूसरे जॉइंट्स के निस्बत. दैट्स व्हाई दिस जॉइंट इज इजीली लोकेटेड, डिसलोकेटेड. अ सिंगल मसल सेल इज कॉल्ड, ऑप्शन बी इज करेक्ट, मसल फाइबर. Muscle cell and nerve cells, they are specialized cells in the body. They are in the form of fiber. So each cell, neuron or muscle cell, is said to be muscle fiber and nerve fiber. A continuous state of partial muscle contraction in which muscle are at their optimal resting length is called muscle tone. हमारे बॉडी मसल्स जो है ये बिल्कुल कंप्लीटली रिलैक्स नहीं है, ये एक कंट्रैक्टेड स्टेट में होते हैं, ऑप्टिमल स्टेट में होते हैं, जिसको हम कहते हैं मसल टोन. At rest, muscle obtain most of their energy by metabolizing, ऑप्शन डी इज करेक्ट, फैटी एसिड. मसल सबसे पहले जो है वो फैटी एसिड यूज करते हैं रेस्ट कंडीशन में. जब मसल वर्क स्टार्ट करता है उसके बाद जो स्टोर कंपाउंड होते हैं क्रिएटिनिन, फॉस्फेट, वो यूज करते हैं, और जब उसकी डिप्लीशन शुरू हो जाती है, डिफिशियंसी शुरू हो जाती है, उसके बाद जो है वो ग्लूकोज को यूटिलाइज करते हैं एरोबिक रेस्पिरेशन. अगर वो भी एटीपी प्रोवाइड न कर सके तो फिर उसके बाद जो है एनएरोबिक रेस्पिरेशन होते हैं लास्ट ऑप्शन में, और उसकी वजह से फिर मसल पेन स्टार्ट हो जाता है. द एंड ऑफ मसल दैट अटैच टू मोर मोबाइल बोन इज कॉल्ड, ऑप्शन डी इज करेक्ट, इंसर्शन. देखो, muscle always attach across the joint. One is stationary bone, one is mobile bone. So the end of the muscle which is attached to the stationary bone is called origin, and end of the muscle which is attached to the mobile bone is called insertion. And the main dilated body of the muscle is called belly. A tendon is an extension of what muscle component? Tendons are connective tissues which connect muscle to bones. So the correct answer is epimysium, the outermost cover of the bone. Fibrous connective tissue layer which surround bone is called, connective tissue which surround muscle. This is a cross section of muscle. So the outermost cover of muscle is called epimysium. So tendon usually develop from the epimysium, the outermost cover of the muscle. Muscles composed of bundles of muscle fibers. Each bundle is surrounded by perimysium. Which muscle is often called the praying muscles because of its role in flexing the head. Muscle located over here which bend the head like this. So this is called praying muscle, and the name of the muscle is sternocleidomastoid. Option C, it is correct. ट्रेपीडियस जो है ये हेड को उठाता है नेक को इस तरह, ये ट्रेपीजियस है. टेम्पोरेलस जो है जॉ मसल है विच क्लोज द जॉ, जो जॉ को बंद करते हैं ये टेम्पोरेलिस है. जो जॉ को ओपन करता है वो मेसेटर है. और बक्सिनेटर मसल्स आर फाउंड इन द फेस रीजन which are responsible for smiling. The impulse conducting cell of nervous system are called neurons. Neurons are the cells that conduct nerve impulses. Neuroglial cell, other are neuroglial cells. They are supporting cells. They support neurons in different ways. Which neuron detects sensations such as touch or heat, and they relay information about the stimuli to central nervous system? Afferent neurons. Afferent is a Latin word which means running away. Efferent means running away, afferent means running to. So efferent neurons are sensory neurons. They carry information to the central nervous system. Schwann cells are one of the neuroglial cells. They secrete myelin sheath. A nerve cell in which phase cannot respond to a new stimulus? Refractory period. This is the time in which the neuron regain its original polarity. So when stimulus is available at this stage, neuron cannot respond. Which key nerve is part of the sacral plexus? Cervical plexus, lumbar plexus, axillary plexus, and sacral plexus. Plexus are the aggregation of nerve net or interconnected cell bodies. So sciatic nerves which supply to the from the back to the foot is the correct answer. Which portion of the brain contains center responsible for such vital function as heart rate, breathing rate, and blood pressure? So medulla oblongata. Medulla oblongata is responsible. This is the correct answer. Medulla oblongata has 4 centers. Cardiac center to control the heartbeat, vasomotor center to control blood pressure, and 2 breathing center to regulate the rhythm of breathing. Which brain structure influences nearly every organ and exert control over the autonomic nervous system and pituitary gland? This is the hypothalamus, which control autonomic nervous system, sympathetic and parasympathetic, and also control the activity of the pituitary gland. An injury to which part of the brain result disorder and cause socially inappropriate behavior? Frontal lobe. This lobe is responsible for reasoning, judgment, thinking, and planning. So frontal lobe is the correct answer. Which cranial nerve supply most of organ in the thoracic and abdominal cavities as well as those in the head and neck? Vagus nerve. Vagus nerve is the only cranial nerve which extends to the abdominal region and abdominal organ. And this is cranial nerve number 10. Which of the following is one of the action of the parasympathetic division of the autonomic nervous system? Option B, constrict airways or bronchial tubes. The other three functions are the function of the sympathetic nervous system. The effect produced by a neurotransmitter such as whether it constrict or dilate blood vessel is determined by the type of receptors. Sometimes the same neurotransmitter acts stimulatory on one type of receptor and inhibitory on the other type of receptor. So receptor determine that the nerve impulse is stimulatory or inhibitory. Nociceptor are receptor that responds to pain sensation. Nociceptor are pain receptors. The sense of taste is called gustation. The sense of smell is called olfaction. And equilibrium, balance. Rods. Rods are cells in the retina of the eye which are responsible to function or serve in dim light और डार्कनेस. ठीक, रॉड या रात से एसोसिएट करे. डार्कनेस में जो है रॉड सेल काम करते हैं और दिन के वक्त या कलर विजन को डिटरमिन करने के लिए जो है कोन्स होते हैं. Which endocrine gland influences more body processes than any other endocrine gland? Pituitary gland. Pituitary gland is the master gland, so they control most of the activities. Cool temperature are most likely to stimulate which hormone of the interior pituitary? सर्दी में कौन सा हार्मोन स्टिमुलेट होगा इंटीरियर पिट्यूटरी से? Thyroid stimulating hormone, because this hormone of the interior pituitary stimulates thyroid gland, and thyroid gland then secrete thyroid hormone. Thyroid hormones are metabolic hormone which create thermogenesis or heat production, and then temperature is maintained. Following thyroid surgery, a patient is most at risk for which disorder? Hypocalcemia, low calcium level, because there are 4 small parathyroid glands which regulate calcium level. So when thyroid surgery occurs, parathyroid glands are located at the posterior side of the thyroid gland, so they are also destroyed. Which gland has more exocrine than endocrine tissue? Pancreas. Pancreas is about 90% exocrine and 10% endocrine. A hypersecretion of growth hormone during adulthood causes acromegaly. Growth hormones at childhood. So low secretion of growth hormone at childhood causes dwarfism. Low hormone at adult stage causes Simon disease, metabolic disorder. Over secretion at childhood causes gigantism. And over secretion at adult stage causes acromegaly. क्योंकि एडल्ट स्टेज पे बोन ग्रोथ स्टॉप हो जाता है, जब ग्रोथ हार्मोन इंक्रीज हो जाते हैं और हो जाते हैं तो उस दौरान जो है बोन ब्रॉडनिंग शुरू हो जाता है एंड द कंडीशन इज कॉल्ड एक्रोमेगली. सो एक्रोमेगली इज द करेक्ट आंसर. The first hormone secreted at the onset of puberty or sexual maturity in both male and female is called GnRH, gonadotropin releasing hormone. GnRH. This is the hypothalamic hormone which secrete in both male and female at sexual maturity. So this is the first hormone. Gametes are 6 cells. Gametes are 6 cells. So option B is correct. Until ejaculation, sperm are stored in the which part of the reproductive tract? That is epididymis, the longest tube or duct in the reproductive system. Which is testosterone? Where is testosterone produced? Interstitial cells are Leydig cell in the testes. Between the seminiferous tubules, there are cluster of endocrine cells known as interstitial cell or Leydig cells which secrete male hormone testosterone. Which organ supplies most of the fluid volumes of semen? Seminal vesicle. Seminal vesicle contributes 70% of the seminal fluid. Prostate contribute 25% of the seminal fluid, and bulbourethral gland contribute about 5% of the total seminal fluid. The surge in which hormone causes ovulation? The correct option is LH, luteinizing hormone. Luteinizing hormone causes ovulation. Falling levels of which two hormone trigger menstruation? Estrogen and progesterone. So, low level of ovarian hormone, these two are ovarian hormone. So, low level of ovarian hormone and rise of gonadotropin, FSH and LH causes menstruation. An alternative form of a gene is called allele. So, correct answer is allele. Locus. Locus is the position of gene on the chromosome. Genome, complete set of chromosome or genetic material in each cell or in an individual is called genome. Genome may be haploid, may be diploid. Karyotype is the arrangement of chromosome on the basis of shape, size. The tendency of individual to resemble their parents is known as what? It is called heredity. Heredity is the tendency of resemblance to the parents. The differences between closely related organisms are known as variation. Variation is the visible differences between parents and offspring or offspring of the same parents is called variation. The term genetic was proposed by William Bateson. In 1906, William Bateson proposed the term genetics. Gregor Mendel proposed the concept of particulate inheritance. T.H. Morgan discovered gene linkage, and Willem Johansen proposed the name of the gene in 1909. A cross between two individuals that differ with one particular trait is known as monohybrid. अगर दो ट्रेट में डिफरेंट हो तो डाई हाइब्रिड, ट्राई हाइब्रिड एंड सो ऑन. The true breeding organism for a particular trait is called homozygous. Homozygous is the correct answer. Homozygous is an individual having similar alleles for a character. Heterozygous is an individual having dissimilar allele for a character. Which of the following cross represent back cross? When heterozygous is crossed with homozygous dominant parents, this is back cross. When heterozygous RF1 is crossed with homozygous recessive, this is test cross. ठीक? When F1 is self-fertilized, this is called SIP cross. And when homozygous dominant is crossed with homozygous recessive, this is parental cross. Which of the following is different from the other? Complete dominance, incomplete dominance, codominance, overdominance. So, complete dominance is the correct answer. This is different from the other three. Other three are Mendelian exception, and Mendel proposed only complete dominance. Multiple alleles are produced by gene mutation. Mutation is the only means introduce new alleles into the population. Aristotle was the believer of organic evolution theory, special creation theory, theory of catastrophism, inheritance of acquired character. So, correct option is B, special creation theory. And this theory states that the environmental, that living organism created once, and after this there will be no change. Organic evolution theory is the idea that the recent plants and animals evolved from pre-existing one. Theory of catastrophism is the idea that environmental stress bring about changes in the chromosome structure, and these variations are slowly accumulated and responsible for the formation of new species. Inheritance of acquired character is Lamarck theory, which is the idea that an individual obtained characters or adopt characters in its lifetime are heritable to the next generation. The idea that each species was created individually by God and never changed thereafter is called creationism. Uniformitarianism was proposed by Hutton and Lyell. Theory of endosymbiosis was proposed by Lynn Margulis. George Cuvier proposed theory of catastrophism. Charles Lyell, uniformitarianism. Louis Agassiz modified the theory of catastrophism. Which of the following scientists is best known for his studies in embryology? One Baer. One Baer proposed recapitulation theory after working on the developmental stages of various organisms, he proposed theory of recapitulation. The evolutionary history of an organism is called phylogeny. Phylogeny indicates the evolutionary history of an organism. Ontogeny, the developmental stages, the embryonic development of an individual. Ontogeny. Homology, same state of organisms. Analogy, comparison between two things or individual. The red fox and kid fox provide example of two species that have undergone divergent evolution. So both shows divergent evolution. When two species of different genealogy come to resemble each other as a result of adaptation, the phenomena is termed as convergent evolution. Microevolution indicates changes in allelic frequency. Coevolution is the evolution between two individuals that evolved together. Thank you.